It's not just actually about killing people. That's the interesting thing. I brought this up when we were talking earlier in the morning. There may be regions where there's not a big family presence, and that may be the city where people just go around and slaughter people with no apparent risk or reward. I know, being the gearheads being in Vegas, that if people are acting out of line in our city, we're going to put the KvltDeFi down on that. We want our city to be a good, healthy place for people to exist in. I assume Archie would do the same thing over in Chicago. If there's some people running around just randomly killing people, they'll be handled. And there may be cities that don't have that prevalence in there. That may be the PvP district or the Gary, Indiana of Chicago, if you will.
Miami.
There is Detroit too, right? I think we've talked about that a little bit.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
There's more than enough cities for the Tang gang to come in if they want to come play.
There you go.
So I've got one of GIF's videos up. You want me to give it a
throw it on, throw it up.
All right, there we go.
So let me just do a quick intro to this then. So the gearheads, they really try, because Kool-Aid is literally a game dev, and he loves what this project is doing. He's already thinking like 3 or 4 steps ahead to try and make make this actually animated, to make this actually really work. And one of the first stages that they did is to start doing these little animated videos. I think they're absolutely hilarious. Some of them are really good. So yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, are we? Go ahead and bring it up and let me know. If
it's here. Sounds on.
All right, this is it. We stage the heist tonight. We make it look real enough to scare the shareholders into selling their shares at a fraction of the cost.
And you're sure this will work?
Trust me, Gif. Once the shareholders think their money isn't safe, they'll be scrambling to get rid of their shares.
We've got everything in place. The fake heist crew is ready, and our inside man will make sure the security cameras go dark at the right moment.
Mickey, you handle the negotiations with the shareholders. Make sure they believe the threat is real and that Andre is their only way out.
You got it, Gif. By the time I'm done, they'll be begging to sell.
Everyone, calm down. We're here to help.
Help? How? They're going to kill us.
No, they won't. But this shows just how vulnerable the bank is. Selling your shares to Mr. Andre here might be your best option to ensure your investments are safe. Remember, I'm just a neutral party here to assist.
But the price. We'll lose everything.
Not everything. You'll still get a fair amount. And more importantly, you'll be safe. This isn't just about money anymore. It's about survival.
Sign these, and you can walk out of here without worrying about your future. It's the best deal you're going to get.
Boss, we're wrapping up. Security's about to respond. Good work. Get out of there and meet us at the rendezvous point.
That went off without a hitch. The shareholders didn't know what hit them.
You two really pulled it off. The bank is ours.
It was a team effort. Mickey's smooth talking and the heist crew's performance did the trick.
Just another day's work. And remember, Gif, I'm just doing the family a favor here.
So
I like the Mike Tyson voice there.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's all GIF himself, right? I mean, I'm giving some coaching on some cinematic type stuff, but he's leveling up fast. But you can kind of see not only how the social environment of it can be binded to an NFT in the future, could be sold as a choose your own adventure part or achievement or an unlockable component later on down the game. because we can see that how bullets are being generated from the bullet factory, and that actually is a token. Whereas health will also be a token, but it really won't need to be a reserve resource unless there's a lot of battle going on. I mean, who knows? Maybe there could be random encounters where environmental fires happen and businesses are killed off, like in SimCity or something like that. There's a lot of ways that this can actually explode and expand in the future. It has a lot of legs to expand. And that's what's really interesting about gamifying decentralized finance in an actual wrapped game rather than just a, chart or a TA prediction, which, is, a trailing indicator, right? It's not a leading indicator. A game is a leading indicator because it's setting the stage for more things to be added to a reaped journey into the future.
So on that Kool-Aid, you kind of mentioned like the possibility of fires happening. I don't know if this is the right terminology, but that kind of player versus environment type of those scenarios. How else would you see those taking root here?
Oh, sure. I mean, I can tell you what's going to happen that I know exists just looking at the wiki. And of course, I am not on core. I just happen to be here as a game dev first, right? I'm trying to help. Game devs always help each other, period. It's in our blood. It's what we do. Then as a player in a second in command second. But we can see the witnesses that are on the wiki that hasn't been indicated. We know players can go to jail. And so something that I call random encounters are where you will be able to commit crimes within the game. Now, more high-profile crimes will most likely have higher yield results, but those will also have witnesses or more risk to being apprehended within those regions. So, the player versus the environment should be dynamic. Like, do you think racing is going to be like street racing is not going to be in the Beverly Hills aspect of a city? It'll probably be more in like, the ghetto-y type areas. Now that seedy environment probably would be your premium location to go sell the drugs that you smuggled in from a different part of the country, right? You're not going to be selling your crack or your hookers and blow up in Beverly Hills. It's going to be in somewhere else, but higher value items might be able to be heisted in those locations. And that's where the map update is going to be fundamental for seeing the 4 parameters of turns, which is going to be actions and movements, right? Per block or per situation or per cooldown. And then in-socketing areas, which is going to show us the district or regions of certain items or facts or value, right?
Yeah. So to go a little bit deeper there on the witnesses. So let's say that when you commit a crime, there are witnesses. How would you, I guess, maybe what kind of mitigation sort of actions would you anticipate other than, maybe bribing those witnesses? Would you see potentially like taking those witnesses out?
Sure.
What other types of situations would you see like that?
Sure. Well, I mean, the detective agency could be used for multiple different purposes for that. So if somebody is a witness and they report a crime to the detectives, then something like that could be a hot sale, right? Let's say that you, as a detective agency, and a lot of people are just thinking about the major bullets of just the bullet factory as the only mitigator, or they do understand the casinos because they understand gambling.
Right.
But if you look at the other aspects of those tech trees, right? A lot of people aren't thinking about them like tech trees.
Yep.
So if detectives can get the dirt on what happens in a particular region, those could be hot commodities that could be sold on the marketplace, right? Or go ahead.
So you're actually gathering information from detective agencies and then potentially selling that information, right? I mean,
that's what I would think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. And they're all microecologies. And that's what's really interesting about this game. And I've mentioned it a few times. The sub-economy of the game is not necessarily attached to the MAFIA token itself. It is correlated to it, especially if somebody dumps it, right? If someone dumps it, they're paying that 16% sell tax. That 16% sell tax goes into the vault. That hardens the in-game ecology and economy of itself. And what's going on? The Grace, welcome in. And that other sub-ecology and economy could push up many different forms of value inside the game, kind of like a Decentraland or a gold rush, right? To get that land in California, it doesn't mean that there was gold there, but theoretically, you acquired the swath of land that as California upgraded from a mining town into where it is today, that's much more valuable than the gold that started that rush or land boom back in time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And one thing that I kind of along that same line of thinking, just the fact that players have a chance to interact and form the world and form the economies, form the environment, maybe the diplomatic situation and that kind of thing. Even though the mechanics of the game are being set up in a certain way, I think even Jacob himself alluded to the fact that he doesn't know exactly how things are going to play out, because it's the players that kind of breathe life into the thing, right? And we don't know which way it's going to go exactly, right? And that's the
exactly, and that's exactly what brings us back to the whole community, right? The social aspect of all of this are the community are the ones that are going to drive the direction of this as we move forward.